So we will need 2 glasses of water, 1 clear, 1 for rinsing brushes, a paper towel, brushes. I have a number of different brushes. We won't need blow dryer. We won't need pen or marker, but this is just a variety of brushes. And I do have 1 angle one in there, the top one. It's up to you. If you have one handy, it might be good. They range anywhere from a size 3 to a size 10. This is a 10. This is an 8. There's a 3. That doesn't have a number. And there's a 5. So let's just get into art mode. And let me just switch my camera. There we go. So we'll just get into art mode. Any troubles that you've got, anything going on, anything on your mind, we'll just let that go and we'll just focus on the 1 hour you're going to give ourselves just to work on a cave view, so which is quite pretty with the sun. So with that, we'll just take 3 deep breaths in and then just hold your breath at the top and then just release fast, release slow, whatever works for you. But it's just to release any stress in our shoulders and our body. I am Kathy. If this is the first time you've attended this class, welcome. If you've been coming for a long time, thank you. I'm honored by that. I appreciate that. So let's take a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in. Release those shoulders and out. Just drop them as much as you can probably feel when you do that on purpose. And another deep breath in and out. And just give yourself a little shake. And we have the picture of our cave view. Hopefully you're able to see it. There's 2 screens. So this is the view we're painting today. And you've got your diagram. So your diagram, which doesn't really look anything like that just yet, but it will. So with that, we'll start. We're going to start with some fun things. We're going to put on some color. And we're going to start just around the whole outside. We're going to do the cave, including when we paint, we'll paint right over these little rocks. So we're going to go all the way around the outside, but not this little section is sand, this is water, and this is sky. So again, this is sky, water, and sand. So we're going to go all the way around the outside. So we'll just start. We can start with red. I think red was one of the colors that we had on the colors that we needed. So a light red. So I've got a darker red, but I'm going to water it down quite a bit. And so I'm just going to put red all the way around the outside. So I'm going right to the line. So just follow along. So if this is your first time, this is a little, if you've got your drawing done, this a little bit like paint by number, you've got your drawing. We're going to go along the edges, even those little rocks. We're going to paint. And this is just a light red. So we're just going to paint all the way around the outside. We're painting the inside of the cave, actually. So it looks like the outside, but. And right up to the corners. So we're just sort of doing a faded red. Even if it's a little bit pinky, that's okay. We're going to put a lot of colors on top of this red, but this red will give us a nice background in between some of the rocks. That pinkish red will show through, which we want because it's a reflection of the sun coming into the cave. So we'll just go all the way around the outside. So it'll take a couple of minutes to do that. And this is the project not about perfection, just about trying something new, a different perspective, working with like-minded artists. You can see my red isn't completely even, I'm not worried about that. It's just a matter of getting the color on. If it's lighter or darker, doesn't matter. If I have this ridge of dark where it looks like an outline of red, it's a little bit darker, that's okay. We are going to be putting other colors on top. And if you go beyond your lines and spots, that's okay too. We just don't want it to be a completely even line. Looking out of a cave, the edges aren't straight. So we don't want straight lines. So because I'm working on an easel, some of my paint is gathering and pooling at the bottom. So I'm just going to use my paper towel just to absorb some of that extra paint.
Kathy,
Yes.
So I'm just trying to see. So you went over on the bottom left, those 3 kind of rocks and
Here on both sides, those 3 pointed rocks, yes. I'm over everything. Yep.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So the top part is sky, the middle part is water, and this part is sand. The rest is rock. So even though it's in red.
Yeah, maybe the red threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
All
So
of those things are red today.
If I hold the other one up, we can see that red coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to paint lots of varieties of colors on top of the outside edges, but we're going to start with the red background first.
Great.
So not to worry too much about all of your color being exactly even.
Kathy,
Yes.
was that on wet? Because I missed the first 12 minutes because my internet.
Oh, okay. This is wet on dry. So wet paint on dry paper.
Okay.
So you're doing
thank
a water. You're welcome. You're just doing a watered down red. And when you look at the
Okay.
picture, the top part is sky, the middle is water, and this bottom part is sand. So you go over all of the opening of the cave.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So when you're this far, the next step we're going to do is paint the sun in. So there's a gap. Hopefully you left that gap in the line that goes right across. So in the sky, we've got a horizon line where water meets sky, and we've got some black rocks on the side here. But we've also got, let me get rid of that little line there. We've also got a little gap in that line. So where the gap is in that line, we're going to paint yellow. We're going to paint a yellow sun. So we're just going to paint a round sun in that, just at where that gap is in between. So this is just yellow. Mine is a little bit of a golden yellow, but it's just yellow. And it's just a big sun. So you can make it a little bit rounder. If it's a little bit oval, we're going to put some other color around the sides of it anyways. So it doesn't, please don't think that anything that we're doing today has to be perfect. It's just about getting the colors on and trying something new. And then we're going to do a
Is that,
reflection.
is that on the bottom on the line that we're, yeah, I see
Right,
now.
it's
Okay.
right at
Got
the
it.
line. Yes, I'll hold it close. It's right at the line. And then visually, I'm going to just track that down and put another little sun, about a third the size of what's already there, down below.
And is the top one like, let's say, the size of a quarter or a little bigger or?
Yeah, a little bit bigger than a quarter. I
Okay,
didn't say what kind of coin because different people are in different countries, so I'm not sure what coins you have. But it's I guess about a 1-inch circle.
okay, that's good.
An
Thank you.
inch is universal. How about if I say 1 centimeter, that won't do it. 10 centimeters. So we just do that in yellow and then just visually track that down, and just below the surface of that bottom line, we're just going to do a reflection of that sun, which is going to be in the sand.
Beautiful,
Is it beautiful?
beautiful. I love it.
I don't know if it looks like much of anything right now, but it's coming.
Looking nice.
Thank you.
It always does at the very end, you know, when we put it all together, it looks really nice now.
Thanks.
Very nice. You're welcome.
I'm still working on dry. We're going to fill in the top half of the opening of the cave looking out with blue. This again, I'm not really too worried about it looking even or particularly perfect. This is the sky looking out of the cave. I'm doing wet on dry. Color I'm using is cobalt blue. If you have a lighter blue, like a sky blue, is perfect. And your edges, where your cave is, don't need to be even. So if you don't have a steady hand and you've got a little bit of you've got some wiggle room here to be able to make uneven edges. So you're just following your pencil line along, and if you go over the pencil and it's a little bit darker on one side because of the red underneath, that's okay. So we're just putting that blue up into the sky. And filling all of that in. And if there's side to side motion, movement looking in your sky, that's okay. Mine's a little bit lighter on some spots and darker on others. You may be able to interpret that as clouds if you like. If you wanted to, you could put a little bit of cloud in there. Just a little. Just by tapping paper towel. It's up to you. And then just to give that sun a little bit of chance to dry, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the water down below. And again, this gives you some wiggle room if you don't have a perfectly steady hand. You can do
Kathy,
the-
is that aquamarine you're using?
This is cobalt blue, but if you have aquamarine, that's fine. And you're using this, I'm using the same color at the top and the bottom. Now, the only thing to remember with this is water is self-leveling. So if water was to sit in a glass, it would naturally go to a level spot. So your horizon line with water needs to be as straight as possible. So that's my top line, needs to be as straight as possible. And then I'm going to fill in this water. This is all water. Looking out the cave, I see the sky. I haven't got the red in yet, but I also see the water edge. And again, I'm not concerned about it being perfect as far as lines and even blues. It is water, and I'm allowing it, just like the sky, I'm allowing it to have a little bit of motion. And I'm not too worried about a dark blue edge because I know I'm going to be doing some edging on my cave. So if I have too much blue on the edge, I'll be able to cover that up with a bit of my browns and my other colors used for the edge.
I made a boo-boo. Kathy.
I hear you. What's up?
So instead of going above the sun, the bottom sun, I started to underline, I don't know why, all the way to the bottom. Should I try to remove that with a wet brush? Or should I leave it?
You want to show me what you've got? So we might be able to fix it with rock. Well, that's fine. We'll be able to fix that with rock. Yeah, no, that's okay. Not to worry.
Music
Because
to my
we will have-
ears.
Yeah,
Thank you.
not to worry. We will have rock at the bottom of the cave. So you can see at the bottom and it will be quite dark. So that will cover over what you've got.
I have a little
might-
rock in my head, but
It might
okay.
even accent. It's okay.
A good boo-boo. Thank you.
Yeah, a happy accident. There you go. All right, now we've got some water at the top, or in the middle, we've got our sky at the top. So let's add some red to our sky. So we're going all around the sun. And you can paint over the little rocks there if you like, or you can leave them. You can just paint around them and leave them. It's up to you. I'll just go around mine for now. So we're just going to paint red. This is wet on dry. But when you get to the blue that is at the top, you're using your brush, give it a little bit of a scrubby motion so that it starts to turn that blue that's there a little bit purpley, so that it will help those two colors start to merge together. So we want a nice red sky. We want to blend that blue and the purple together. You don't want any hard lines. So if you start to get a hard line, just add a little bit of water and just blend it. Just work it a little bit. So it will be a little bit purpley coming down into the red. But we want to straight, oops, I went over my rock. So we want a straight line across where it meets the water. And we're going to go right around that sun. So just take your time, take a deep breath. Release that hanging on for dear life of your brush. Just let the paint flow. You can see where that blue and that red has just turned a little bit purpley. So I've got a little bit of red trying to sneak into the blue of my water, and I'm just going to touch it very lightly with a paper towel. If it leaves the white mark and starts to take off that blue, I can add that blue again once it's dry. So here I suggested that you leave your rocks, not go over them, and I painted right over mine. So I'm not worried about it. I can still see them here, and so I'll paint those black in a little while. So we're just a minute or so from halftime, and we have 2 words today. The first one is playfulness, which we had the other day, but I guess we need to hear that again. May you know what it is to play and have fun, like the kids who run out the back door in the summertime and get sweaty and wet and dirty and fall into bed at the end of it. May you remember the freedom that comes with being creative, going with the moment and not following rules. You need playfulness in your life to shake things up and get their creative juices flowing. Be inspired and be playful. Play every day. So we're just playing today. And the next one is this moment. May you know this moment in all of its splendor. May you know that this moment is all that you have, so embrace its very essence. Let old stories and ideas and patterns that are no longer serving you drop away. Who are you today? And more importantly, who do you want to be in this moment? Savor this moment and live as the fullest expression of yourself at this moment. Joyful, angry, excited, sad, whatever is true in this moment. If it's uncomfortable, move through it. It will pass, and a new moment and opportunity will arrive. And a new color. So let's have a new color. Let's make a new color. Let's make orange from yellow and a little bit of red. So this color, orange, we're going to use for sand. So let's make the sand down the bottom all around our sun. So we're going to leave our sun. Our sun's still going to show up.
To me, your sand looks the same color as your sun. What color is it?
Yep, orange. I'm just adding a little bit of red. It's just a little bit. There we go. Is that better? Showing up?
Let me
Can you
see.
see that sun?
Looks yellow, but
Yep.
okay.
Yep. It's just a reflection in the sand.
It's a reflection in the sand. So this is around that sun where I put the blue.
Yes. So we're going below the water and above the rocks, above the rock of the cave. And again, it's sand, and sand isn't perfect either. Sand has bumps and ridges and lights and darks. So it just needs to be a little bit different color than that sun. You can see my sun is still showing up, but not totally obvious.
Hi Kathy, sorry, did you paint right over the sun on the sand?
No, I went around it.
Oh, okay.
And the next step we're going to do, which might help you, is I'm going to put the reflection of the red in the sky around the sun as well in the sand. So I've got the reflection of the color of the sky going around that sun in the sand.
So that's the red, right? Now you're using red?
That's the red, the same red we've got in the sky. Yep. I'm going to take a little bit of that red and I'm going to put some fine streaks just across the sun. And I'll do the same down below.
Kathy, is that red?
That's red, yes, that is red. So we know from when we mixed, we blended below, up above, we had the blue and the red, and we blended it together. We ended up with a mauvey purple. And we're going to deliberately make a mauvey purple on our tray color. So we want the same blue from the sky and your red and mix them together. So we want a little more blue than red because we want it to be purpley. And we're going to lighten it up with water. So just thin out that color. So that mauvey color, I'm going to go from where the sun side is, where the shore is, I'm coming across to the other side on an angle in the water. So I want to put this mauvey color in the water right on top. If it starts to look like it's thinning out the color underneath, that's okay. So what I'm doing is creating the look of the mauve that's in the sky, also in the water. And before I'm finished, there's one more thing I want to do with the water, the sun, and the reflection. I'm going to start with a clear brush, a clean brush in clean water. I'm going to tap it off on my paper towel, and I'm going to start to remove some of the paint. So I'm lifting off all the way down to where my other reflection of the sun is. So I'm lifting off paint. So I've got the look of the glow of the sun coming all the way down to the shore. So just lifting off paint.
Beautiful.
Kathy,
I like those colors.
Kathy, there's just a recommendation if you could hold try to hold the canvas a little stiller. I guess it's
Yeah.
coming across blurry on the other end, so if they can see
Okay,
better.
thank you.
Thank you.
'Cause I need something to rest it on. Maybe I'll put a little can there. There we go.
Oh, that helps.
Yes, a can of Varathane. There you go. Perfect. So we have the reflection there. We've done a little bit of lifting off. I'm going to come back with the blue. And I'm just going to put a few lines just here and there, just to give that water, that reflection, a little bit of movement, just side to side brushing. So with straight black, we're going to paint those rocks in the water. So I have these little rocks that I had painted or drawn in with pencil. And now I'm just painting them in, coming right to the edge of the water. So I'm going to paint all of that in.
So what color did you use for that?
Black. It's just straight black. Straight black paint. And if they don't end up completely perfect rounded rocks, they are rocks, so it's okay that they have some bumps and ridges. I'm going to go to a bigger brush. I'm going to use my number 8, which is a little bit thicker. And I'm going to start to work on the outside of my canvas. The deeper part of the cave, I'm doing wet paint on dry, and I'm going to blacken all 4 corners. So I'm not worried about perfect. I'm just putting black, just kind of scrubbing the black into the edges. It's the back part of the cave. So it's dried a little bit lighter and I still want it to be dark. So I'm going to go back on again and really give it a nice dark coating. And you can see I'm just tapping my brush, but the paint just sits on the canvas. The next color we have is brown or burnt, like a burnt umber. It's a darker brown. And I want to put this brown at the sides of the cave. So I'm just following the lines that I've drawn. So I can go right up to the red, the top of the red on both sides. And just down to the blue on both sides. And I'm coming right to the outside edge. So I'm on an easel, so mine's running a little bit. If your canvas is flat, then it will be sitting nicely on there. Then where the rocks are standing up, there's a couple of rocks in the cave that are kind of jutting out. We're going to give those a yellow top. And we'll go right to the bottom where the brown is. If it starts to run into it, don't worry, that's okay. So this is the other side from the sun. This is a reflection of the sun looking into the cave. And I've got the opening of my cave on the other side. There's a couple of rocks that come down. And I'm just going to give, well, we'll give the top of all of those rocks a little bit of a yellow coating.
What color is that yellow?
That's yellow, yes.
Yellow
Yes.
is yellow.
Yep. So the yellow is the sun coming in to the opening of the cave.
Okay. You didn't have red where you're painting this yellow? Or you did?
No.
You
Oh,
didn't.
yeah, underneath is red, yes.
My-
Yes,
my-
there is red underneath. This is red. Yep. It's just dried.
Guess I got overzealous on the red.
So we'll go back to that orange. If you can mix up an orange, which is red and yellow together. We're going to start to bring some of that reflection into the cave. So I'm just going, just using my brush in sort of a circular fashion, just kind of coming around right down to the black. We can come right down to the bottom. So I'm just sort of doing a circular fashion with that orange. I can take that same orange and I can do the same treatment up top, just sort of in a circular fashion. We're just kind of popping that orange on top of where the red is, right up against the black, right to the top of that brown. It's wet on dry. If that paint starts to run down into the brown, that's fine. And we're coming right over the top of the opening, right to the other side. And if we pick up some of the other colors and they start to blend a little bit, that's okay. So wherever we have an opening left, which there was a little one at the side, we want to just blend that together. Now we'll blend blue and black together. So the blue that you've got in your sky or the blue that you've got in your water mixed with black. More blue than black. And we can do a line where the water and the sand are meeting. So we've got that blue and black. It's just going to give us a little bit of a ridge where the water and the sand meet. So just darkening that up a little bit with blue and black mixed together. And also do that horizon line a little bit darker. And we're going to use that blue and black to just touch on some of the rocks at the opening of the cave. So I mixed blue and black.
Where was the last place that you put the blue and black?
Blue and black, I put it at the horizon line. I
Yes.
also put it around where the sand and the water meets. And I did just touches to give the texture for the rocks at the opening of the cave. And so I'm just using flicks of my brush just to give the look of a rugged rock surface. So still leaving the colors there. I'm also going to take this opportunity to make one swipe with the brush so it looks like that's where I'm walking into or out of the cave. So I've got a nice swipe, easy access to the cave.
Did you swipe under the sun?
No, I'm down below, right at the.
No, but
this is the
before
sun's-
that, when you did the
I'm-
horizon line, did you
Yes.
swipe right there? Okay,
Yes,
I couldn't
yes, I
tell.
did. Yes, I
Thank
did.
you.
You're welcome. That blue black, I've still got that on my brush, and so I'm going to just make a few marks here and there at the sides, up near the top, around the other side, just to give the looks of rocks in my cave. Just some rocks, and I'm just using that blue black, what I've got on my brush. And I'm just tapping, just letting that color just squish out of the bristles of my brush. And I never like sand to look too perfect. And so I'm going to put some little pebbles just with the point of my brush with the blue black on there already. And I'm just ever so lightly just going to let there be some pebbles. So I'm just touching with my brush a few pebbles in the sand. Just a few around. Not to be too even. Just a few pebbles, rocks here and there. And it looks like some of my rocks that I put down below have dried pretty light. And so I'm going to come back on and just retouch that just to give that depth. A little bit deeper color. And remembering your artist signature wherever you choose to sign that. I'm going to sign mine a little bit higher. And we've talked about mats a few times. Mats, oops, throw the picture on the floor. Mats can make or break a picture. So when we look at mats for a picture, if I use the red, it pulls the red from the sky. if I use the brown, it looks okay. I think it's not fantastic. I've got a plum. Maybe that's okay. I've got a blue, which really pulls the brown out.
Kathy, what colours did you use for your stones and pebbles?
Blue black.
Blue,
So
black.
down the bottom, this is blue and black mixed together.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
the same color that's on the shoreline and the same color that's on the horizon line. Yeah, so I'm not sure, maybe the blue.
This is going to be recorded, right?
Me throwing it on the ground and you being able to do it again. Yes, yes, it is
Okay, thank you.
recorded. You're
I
welcome.
have to wait until mine dries a little bit. I don't want
Oh, okay.
to touch it.
Okay. Yeah, so just, I mean, this may not be the end. If you want to do some adjustments to it, add some different textures and colors, then certainly this isn't the, I'm hoping this isn't the last time you do this, or if you're not quite finished, then feel free to, add your embellishments on it. If you want to put some birds in the sky, then that would be pretty as well. So that's
Okay, thank
entirely
you.
up to you. Yeah. Yeah, so if I was to put birds, I think I might use the red and the blue. I would put birds in both sections of the sky. If you wanted, you could even put them in front of the sun, which would be quite pretty. So you see what's possible in an hour? You guys have done a great job. So you'll find that each time you do a painting, even if you're doing the same one over and over, each time you do it, it will be a little bit different. You'll change things, you'll add things, you'll take things away, you'll darken here, you'll lighten there. So play with it. Don't let this be the last time. Not a fantastic job. So good for you guys. Thank you. Thank you for participating.